Yeah, man. Good to see ya.
I know.
Been a little bit, looking big.
Dude, I'm trying.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm training for the Paris Olympics. You know, it's in one of my hometowns.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready. I haven't been picked yet or asked or called.
Have you chosen a sport?
I'm leaving it open
Yeah.
just in case, but I'm probably basketball, if we're being honest. Especially the U.S. put this team together. I'm sure France will call in and say, we need you to.
Yeah, we need boys. I actually know a guy from the France team, and he was a baller.
Oh, really?
An absolute baller. And met him in Canada, and he was like, yeah, I played pro in France. And I was like, okay, makes sense.
You're playing pro basketball.
The Olympics, going and training for a random sport. Me and Chris had a conversation once where we were like, Chris Collins, we were like, if we pick a random one, let's see which one that our country just
Sport?
doesn't participate in.
A random sport?
Yeah, a random sport. So it's like, if you look at all of the sports, which one do Canadian athletes participate in the least? So then you're like, oh, I might just have to beat out like one or two guys.
Right.
Or do I even need to beat anybody
Yeah.
out? Do I just need to sign up and then
Did you figure out what sport?
We had like this whole plan. We
had a plan to go to the Olympics.
we did the research, and there's some funny ones. There's like Rec, if you can look them up, we'll take a look at
That's so funny, bro.
some of the
Wait,
least signed up for sports.
How old were you guys?
Dude, this was like 3 years ago. This was not long ago. Yeah.
I'm thinking you guys are teenagers thinking about like, oh, we're gonna get to the Olympics. It's literally like in a meeting 3 years ago.
No. We thought about it. We were like, this would be a funny video concept.
That's so
if
funny.
if we picked what's the easiest thing that we think we could make it to. We're not gonna win.
That'd be a great video concept.
Yeah, it's like I saw Jamaica has a bobsledding.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're good, I think.
Are they?
There's a movie.
There's a movie about it.
There's a movie about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Have you not seen it?
No.
What's the movie called? There's a movie. Cool Runnings.
Cool. Really?
You gotta watch Cool Runnings tonight.
Is it good?
It's really good. You have to watch it tonight.
Okay.
Especially
I'll
after
watch
this conversation.
Yeah.
And then we gotta come back and debrief.
Okay, I'll watch it.
It's about the first, I don't know if it's real or not, but it's the Jamaican bobsledding team that goes to the Winter Olympics.
That's wild. Have you been to Jamaica?
No.
I've been there. I don't see no snow.
Really?
I don't see no snow.
I don't know. Maybe you're not going in the right season.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
There's no
Do
way.
you like? I want to go on vacation soon. I feel like that could be a spot.
Jamaica?
Yeah.
Not on here to harp on all the Jamaicans. A lot of people really like it, but for me, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, but it was the dirtiest water I'd ever seen. But they said that there was like
dirty in Detroit. Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, Detroit. I'm sorry. He set it up for me.
Okay, here's my experience. We had a day trip in Jamaica because it was a part of our cruise. So we picked like one of. So I don't really have a full scope of how great Jamaica really could be. The people were awesome. I loved the people, but we went in to do like an excursion where we wanted to go tubing down the water,
right.
just rafting, and
the water
was.
Wait, I saw this.
Yeah.
So you guys went recently.
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
I remember the water. It wasn't the cleanest.
Yeah,
You're
water.
right.
It was the dirtiest water I've ever been on.
I remember you guys on the buoy, all of you guys.
Yeah, and
wow,
they were like, "Oh yeah, there's just rain recently." I'm like, "That water looks like mud, like straight mud." But we floated down it anyway. So it was me, David, Grace.
That's right.
Jake, Tara, Crawford, Baba's. Yeah,
that's a good crew.
It was a great crew, but they've got all of the tubes just like linked up with each other, hooked up to each other.
So if someone falls out, you just
Crawford did fall out. So Crawford just starts like going, and this river wasn't like a safe river. Like it was moving, and like we were just sketched to even get in, and I don't know, everybody's freaking out. Tara needed to pee the whole time.
Oh my god,
couldn't get out into the water, but Crawford drifted off, and we're all like yelling at the guy, like, "Yo,
We're losing our guy.
And he's got a big thing of rum punch, and he's just hammered, just absolutely liquored. And he just throws the whole bottle at us. He's like, that'll fix your burrs.
You know what's so funny? If I had to place money, if you had told me one person fell off and I had to place a bet on who it was, I would have said Crawford for sure.
Yeah.
Out of that crew of people, I would have been like, yeah, Crawford.
He was able to like...
Or Bubba's.
But Bob was complaining the whole time. Yeah. He was like... Craw was able to kind of waddle his way back to the crew. And then he just had to like hold on the whole time. Like they didn't
they can put him back on the boot?
They didn't tie him back on. They did nothing. So he was just like...
hanging.
He was sitting there, but...
Bottle in one hand, holding on the other hand.
The thing is the guy did give a big bottle of rum punch. We're like, Crawford probably deserves this. So he wasn't on that fucking cruise. You should have. You should have. We're gonna do it again. You and Eileen should come.
I've never been on a cruise before,
dude.
But I heard it's like so fun.
So I've had a lot of people be like, you really want to be crammed in like sardines with a bunch of Americans,
but they're built like cities, right?
It's like a city, man.
Like, did you even have enough time to check out the whole boat?
No.
And you were there for how long?
A week. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 7 or 8 days. And it was excellent. We had a 10 out of 10 time. We got a group chat. We still talk all the time.
Yeah.
We want to go back. And when I think going on the water, like a lot of my friends stuff, like, dude, don't do a cruise. Yachts are where it's at. Yachts are dope, right? For anybody that's been on
but
it's
like
not even
bougie.
It's not even close to the same experience because you can't have. You're meeting new people.
Yeah.
You can't do a disco night,
bro. There's beauty in like, I don't know. J. Cole always says beauty in the struggle, but like the idea of like being on a cruise with a bunch of friends and like not caring, it's just way more fun than being on a yacht. I don't know. I'm thinking about like taking my shoes off, being careful. Like, I don't know. It just feels more relaxed on the cruise.
It's way more relaxed.
You know,
like you're there.
You're chill. You got your drink package. Like you're chilling.
Yeah, you've got all your needs met for, and there's no cell reception, so like you can't get disturbed by work or anything. And even if you want to, you have to like calm down your mind and be like, I guess I'll work when I
get the Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah, when I get to dry land. But then you get to dry land and it drops you off in some tropical location or whatever, and you're like,
all right, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm invested. Let's do it. Let's start a cruise line.
Yeah. Oh, start.
I mean, this is what it's about, right?
Yeah. Here. Okay, we're gonna take all of our dollars. We're gonna buy a very tiny cruise.
How much do you think a cruise ship would cost?
Oh, bro, those things are.
Are we talking billions or like 9 figures or like billions, you think?
To own,
just to buy one.
I'll say this much. I was trying to do the math to understand how they're profitable.
Yeah.
And I need to do more research because it wasn't like the numbers just weren't adding up to me.
The margin wasn't.
It didn't make sense. I'm like, because it's absolutely unlimited food. And bro, like,
Jake, the maintenance on the boat is probably crazy.
Jake in the group chat today, he's like, eat healthy, doing whatever. When it comes to cruise week, Guy Fieri burgers nonstop, right? Like you eat an extra 3 or 4 meals in a day, and anybody who's been on a cruise, like they get that.
But the maintenance alone would be so expensive. The staff, don't they have like a ton of staff?
So many staff, like everything's meant for. I think they probably do well from. Like there's a casino on there, so drunk people floating through there. That was the only thing that really made sense to me. I was like, because the tickets aren't that expensive. They actually, since we've been on there, they've offered all of us free cruises to go
back.
Yeah, so it's like, and the amount of people that I met on the boat that were doing it for free.
Oh, crazy!
It's like, where's the?
Bro, there's a hole in the matrix. Either, you know what? We could be so off. Like maybe
they're so
profitable and we're just fully not understanding. Because if you're giving out that many free cruises, I mean, clearly it's to their best interest to have you on the boat. So when you're on the boat, people must be spending a lot of money on stuff. And
they sell a bunch of merch and all that, and they must have
like drink packages and stuff like that.
Agreements maybe with the countries to bring in all those tourists, and the tourists spend money. So it's like,
just if the entry point is low, that means there's something in there. upsells.
If we look at this hard enough, and I'm sure people in the comment section, will be
People were like, "Is this a fucking cruise podcast?"
They'll be like, "Okay, you two dumb motherfuckers."
All right, skip to the 2-minute mark.
We're gonna teach you. So before we got podcasting, you said that you've produced hundreds of millions in viewership this year. Give me some stats. What have you done?
Bro, it's been good. I think we do about 100 million views a month on TikTok. YouTube, we just went from 4 million views a month to 60 because of shorts.
Huge.
So, and then we have Snapchat that does, I think, 1 or 2 million. Altogether, I think it adds up to about, I would say, 200 million views a month, which is crazy. Most of it is TikTok, like half of it is TikTok, but it's definitely, I feel like sometimes I don't notice it because I'm always between my house, the gym, or working. I don't really be venturing out into the wild. But every time I do go out of like my triangle of like work, home, and gym, like I go to the airport, or I go to Chick-fil-A or something, like I'll get like recognized more and more, and I'm starting to see the effect of the views. But
you're starting to see it in your everyday life now.
Yes, it's definitely becoming like apparent for sure, like very apparent. But I'm so focused on the brand. You've known me.
Yeah.
Like the views are great, but I think people always forget there's a difference between a passive viewer and a fan, right? And I think a lot of our views early on were passive viewers. Now they're becoming fans, but still a good amount of passive viewers. And I'm more focused on like, in 5 years, what does it all look like? Like, what brand have we built? And is that brand something that can take us for the next 10 years? Is it something we like license out or something, or sell? Or like, what are the different avenues we can build? But I know that if the people are there, we can do whatever we want. So right now it's operation, just like get people there. And so far, so good. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's interesting. What do you think in your life has changed the most from going from entering 2023 to now being where you're at inside 2024? Because this has all been rapid growth for you.
Yeah, it's funny. I have I'm in my phone, me and my fiance, we have a thing called Where Are We Now every year. And it rang last week. And every year, for example, it rang last week. It said, "Where are we now?" And it said, Eileen has started her new job. It's been a few months. She was super happy. Kevin had been getting 2,000 or 3,000 views per TikTok, but his first TikTok broke 18 million views in a day. So that was a year ago last week. So from January till March of last year, I was not getting that many views. And then the first TikTok got like 18 mil, literally last year at this time. And since then, it's been a year straight now of just about every video on TikTok getting millions of views, and then the YouTube videos, picking off. So it's now been the 1 year inception where now I feel like before it was like, I've seen this guy before. Now it feels like this is the world's best guesser or whatever. Like this is Kevin Langue. He's got a YouTube channel. So I think the brand is much more established now than it was like a year ago.
Yeah.
That's probably been like the biggest change.
Yeah. So a year ago, your identity was kind of all over, right?
Yeah.
Because you took a big leap of faith. You went from streaming.
Yeah.
You were streaming full time.
Yeah.
And then you decided that I'm actually going to go focus on
YouTube,
actually building a YouTube channel. And so that's a huge shift. And a lot of content creators, that's,
yeah.
And it might be vice versa. I see a lot of people who have been in the game for 13, 14 years, and now they're going to start streaming or something like that. But what did that feel like taking that leap of faith? Because that could result in no income, and it actually would have resulted in no income for a little bit. Yeah.
No, it did. It's definitely like, it took me back to when I quit my job at Tao. I had like 6 months of money saved up. And streaming, I loved streaming. I think, let me take that back. I loved hanging out with my chat, and I love playing games with my friends. The idea of streaming, I think, wasn't my favorite thing in the world, at least not as much as making YouTube videos. So I knew eventually I'd have to go back to YouTube. And the second I felt like I wasn't giving streaming 100%, and for streaming, these fans are paying for my bills, and I was making great money. And there were months where I had like 10,000 subscribers, and so leaving that was definitely scary. But I didn't want to sit on camera and just like half-ass my content or what I was making for fans to like fork out their money and give it to me.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm doing good right now, but I don't want to get to a place where I'm just like really not invested in this. I need to unplug. Thankfully, I never touched my streaming money.
Mhm.
This is not financial advice, but I had never touched it because we took off so fast. The Cam
Mhm.
Boys did. And I always felt like if something can come to you that fast, it could go away just as fast.
Mhm.
So I kept my
Very true.
expenses the same. I didn't change my lifestyle. I just kind of took the streaming money and just put it away. So when I left streaming, I had a good cushion to kind of take a bet on myself. And I had been streaming to my same 100 to 150 people for like a year, which I love those people. If they're
Mhm.
watching, I fucking love y'all. And I was like, I need to go grow. And it's also around the same time I tore my Achilles, which we've
Oh
talked about.
yeah.
And tearing my Achilles was horrible. It was the lowest point of my life. And I still remember being in the shower, like borderline crying, thinking to myself, this is either going to be the worst thing that ever happened to me or the best thing. It's totally up to me. And I got out and I decided to spend like 6 months like studying YouTube and becoming more of a student. I couldn't make videos because, my leg was all hurt. I couldn't like walk around. I wasn't mobile. I was stuck at home. Could still stream, but I couldn't make videos the way I want to make videos. So I spent like 4 or 5 months just like learning, talking to other YouTubers, studying, and understanding what it takes to make a good video from start to finish. And then I made the switch. I was still streaming a little bit, but I started to experience with different styles of videos. I had like a Mr. Beast era, didn't like it, didn't do too well. Then I had like a game show era, a hide and seek era. I was trying to find myself on the platform. And then I decided to fully let go of streaming and say like I'm gonna go full into YouTube and I'm not leaving till I get 1 million subscribers. That's just it. If I cut away the money from streaming, I'm gonna be forced to fully commit. And then I asked myself, am I making the videos that like I like to watch and I like to make, or am I making the videos that I think will do well? And it was the latter.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, what do I like to watch? Like, what am I entertained by? And all those UK YouTubers, Beta Squad, Kai Cenat, AMP, the guys that like I kind of watch,
Yep.
I was like, why don't I start making videos like those guys? Because that's what I like to watch. I'll probably be good at it. And that's something I could do for a long time. That was the first thing. Second thing was every video had to pass the test of if I play this in a theater in front of my whole family and friends, would I be proud of it?
Mhm.
Because before, during the hide and seek era, people would be like, "Oh, would you make videos? Let me see your channel." I'd be like, it's not for
It's
you."
you're gonna have to find my ad out there somewhere. Yeah.
If you have a daughter, she'll probably fuck with it, but
Yeah.
So you have to pass that test of like, I love it and I want everyone to watch it. And then I started experiencing with the white background. We had like the guest a black person. We did some blind dating. We did a bunch of different things. And the guessing was like my favorite,
Mhm.
especially with like the group of guys I had. And I was like, fuck it. This is what I love to do. It's repeatable. I can do it in a day. It's cost efficient. I'm going to make this work. I'm not going to go do what works for the internet. I'm going to do what works for me and make that work for the internet and just inject viral retention hacks and stuff into what I'm making and see what happens. And it's a gamble, but fuck, that shit worked out.
That shit paid off.
So far.
Yeah, that shit
so
paid
yeah,
off.
everybody paid off. And it started here. Funny enough, it started with Will, Josh, One Fluent. I think being here every day, you don't have a choice but to reflect and think and come up with ideas. And everyone in here was always coming up with ideas for other creators. So your mind is 9 at 5 or sometimes 9 at 8. You're in here and you're constantly thinking, being
Sometimes
creative.
9 to 9. AM to AM.
Yeah, dude. Like it just felt like, I don't know. If I give any advice to creators, like be in rooms with other creators as much as you can,
Mhm,
because that opened up like so many of my like creative juice.
mhm. Yeah, there's something to say about a creative field
Hmm.
and it doesn't even have to be content creators, but when you're around creators in general,
Yeah.
people who are putting effort towards their art and the way that they look at it. But the one thing that you see is consistent across all creative fields is consistency and work ethic.
Yeah.
It's like you got to study it. You got
Hmm.
to put in a wild amount of hours to it. It
Yes.
does not come easy to anybody.
Yeah.
And you know, it's from the outside looking in, like you'll
Hmm.
see the Bella Porch dude, like, her TikTok or something like
Yeah.
that, or but what happens after that viral moment?
So
How do
important.
you keep going? How do you retain that audience?
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, there's such thing as passive viewers where
Yeah.
you could have a really viral video that everybody in the world sees
Hmm.
and it gains you a mass amount of passive viewers from it, people who are interested in you in the moment. But the
Yeah.
really important viewers are the ones that you actually retain. They come to you
For
for
sure.
entertainment, for knowledge and education,
Hmm.
for to just feel emotion if
Yeah.
you're able to provoke. And
Going viral is easy.
yeah,
Going viral,
like
not nowadays. Like there's dogs in Seattle's going viral. There's moms going viral is the easy thing to do now. Consistently going viral, that's the one you gotta like.
I had some I had some kids, they're now grown men. It's been a few years, but they were working at a farm back in Canada that I
Hmm.
was on, and they were asking me all about it. We were just like, I was in one, me, sometimes I get talking and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
try to,
yeah, yeah.
I was working out in the farm gym. And they were working out in there.
Do you see what I
And
mean? I've been saying Will's from the deep north. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, we were like literally working out in the barn and or a greenhouse. And they were just like asking like, oh, how does one get viral? How does one get started doing a
Yeah,
TikTok
yeah.
channel? How does one do
Hmm.
whatever? And I was like, just start videotaping. Like just
Yeah.
start recording and start posting and
Hmm.
don't think about it too hard. You will have a viral moment go off.
Hmm.
And they work on a farm and like make content for you, for somebody that's in your position. So they make the TikTok, it's called like the Farm Boys or something
Oh,
like that.
what?
And they end up like actually having a few really viral moments.
Yeah.
And they they were kind of like, what do we do with ourselves? And then they're trying to make videos around the farm and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trying
do
to brand
advertisements,
it.
stuff like that. And it shows how easy it can happen. And if anybody is interested in starting a career in content creation, that it is that simple. It's just getting
Yeah.
out there, filming your life,
Hmm.
getting creative, putting effort towards it, and you will have viral moments. But
Yeah.
that consistency, actually getting yourself to be one of those people that you make a living off of this,
It's tough.
that's tough.
It's tough.
Because just generating millions of views that doesn't pay the bills.
No, I
No.
think people have a misconception of that. They think he's getting all these views, he's getting all this money, but a lot of influencers are broke or like are getting by because it's not like before. Back in the Vine days, like getting millions of views was difficult.
Mhm.
And if you could do it consistently, like you probably get a good payday. Now there's so many influencers post pandemic, especially so many people getting millions of views that people care more about like, well, what's the brand behind it? Like if you're getting millions of views on just random stuff, it's hard to like associate you with something. And I think now to really be an influencer or to be in that space, you got to have really good branding,
Mhm.
especially if you want to go far,
Mhm.
But like you said, it's work. Like people always ask me like, what's the secret? I'm like, bro, there's no secret. I'm not extremely talented. I don't look like Justin Bieber. Like I'm just a guy who woke up at 7 every day and worked till 8 for a
Mhm.
year straight. Well, for more than a year, but especially 2023, I was really committed. I worked like 80 hours a week. And so that's all I did. And
Yeah, I can attest that. Like anybody who a lot of people say they did, but
Mhm.
you were coming in and
Mhm.
you were getting here early. You were very often the first one here, if
Yeah.
not definitely I'd say majority of the time you were the first one
Yeah,
here.
when someone beat me here, I was kind of pissed.
Yeah. and I would also put majority of the time the last one to leave. You locked
Yeah.
up many days here. So
And people don't know that, like, these guys end up giving me a key because I was here so early and late. But I love it, and I think you get it because you're cut from that same cloth of like, I think there's something, it has something to do with like also playing sports growing up, the type of family you're around, but like there's something in us that's like, I totally respect working smart, but I don't shy away from working hard either. Like I'm okay with that. That's just my thing. Like I really think if I don't know if I can cuss on here, but
go ahead.
if motherfuckers put their head down and work, I really think that shit pays off over time. So that's just what I do.
Nothing really beats persistence.
Right?
Like you know what? Quick story time. I know there was this old guy that I did some business with. And frankly, he was racist.
Yeah.
Openly racist. I don't know how he didn't get his just head knocked off.
Yeah.
He was not very intelligent. I didn't see.
Those normally go hand in hand.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
they
makes sense.
typically do. He was not very intelligent. He, the business that he was in wasn't a sexy business, but he just got up every day and did it. And the persistence of it, the guy ended up building an empire. And when I was working with him for a little bit, I wanted to understand how did he build what he did. It was the only reason that I did business with him for a bit. Got out because I did not align morally or whatever. But just seeing I was like, oh, it was as simple as that. This guy's not smart. He's got no secret sauce, but he's in his mid 60s and he's been getting up every day and he sells his product and he finds opportunities. Because even the dumb can stumble on them if you get up and you work towards it.
Even the clock is right. A broken clock works twice a day, right?
Twice a day, yeah.
Like,
so now if you add that persistency, but to somebody with actually a little bit of intelligence, you start to get a pretty beautiful mix.
For
sure. And then if you add good morals and
then it's good people around you.
Good people.
No, I stand by it for sure.
Yeah, speaking of having good people.
Oh. Sorry. That's my post-to-real alarm.
Post-to-real time. Speaking of having good people around you, how do you attest having a solid relationship? Now you're engaged again. Congrats.
Yes.
And
Thanks.
How do you attest having a solid relationship has benefited your success?
Oh my gosh. I think you know where it really hit me when I see celebrities or athletes go up and accept an award and they like thank their wife, and they're like, what about my wife? Yada, yada, yada. I get it now. Like I hear those words and I'm like, holy shit, I understand, because being with a dreamer, I think is very difficult, right? Being with people like us who are constantly trying to push the line and envelope, and there is no structure. There is no 9 to 5. It's like as much as you put in is as much as you get out. And we're workhorses. Like we're going to put in till our legs fall off at the cost of potentially relationships, friendships, like vices, like. And so, being with Eileen, especially recently with how much I've been working, it's insane how supportive she's been. And I still remember when it first started to get to a place where I was working a lot, we're really good at checking in with each other and kind of just being like, hey, like, how you feeling? How's this? How's that? Like, we're extremely communicative. And I remember her asking me, like, what can she do for me in this season? Because she understood this was going to be a lot, right? And I just asked her for patience. I was like, honestly, like, just be patient with me because I know I'm going to forget things. I know I'm going to be like working a lot. I'm going to be late to things. And she has taken that and just really been my number one supporter. She's so patient with me. She's so supportive. She's curious about the business. Like she sits down on my lap and gives me thumbnail ideas and notes. Like I wouldn't be surprised if in a few years she comes on and like probably is like COO of what I'm doing, But having someone who understands that like when you're with a dreamer, you can't compete with the dream. You might lose because that dream's been there forever. But instead, align yourself with the dream and know that like obviously it depends on your partner. But for me, it's like, man, if this shit works, like you're retired. You know, like you can do whatever you want. I got us. And once she like started to align herself with the dream, like a few years ago, it became so easy to be together, support each other. And in that same vein, anytime I get just, you know, we have days, like there's days where it's like Fridays are like Kevin days, where like I do whatever
You
I
guys have
want.
personal days.
Yeah, dude.
I love that.
I need my Fridays, bro.
Yeah.
Because I'm also like as social as I am, I need a day
Mhm.
where I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to be in a it's not like I want to be around people, but like I don't want to make decisions. I'm making decisions all day with 18 different teams. On Fridays, I want to put on like sports because I don't have to really pay attention.
Mhm.
I want to be able to get up, go play Fortnite, come back, go outside, go into. No one's gonna question my activities. And then that's also her days, by the way. She can also do whatever she wants. She's watching Scandal the whole time, but you know. And then Sundays we have like our couple days, right?
Mhm.
And if we have moments where I've been working a lot, like back to back to back days or something, and she's been extremely patient with me and understanding, I recognize that. And so maybe on day 5, I'm surprising her with like a massive dinner or we're going somewhere or a trip or something just to show her like, I see what you're doing. I know you took a back seat the last 4 days. Let me put you in the driver's seat for the next 2, you know? And I think now that we have that understanding, it's easy not to jump to like wait, he's drifting away, because she knows like I'm always gonna make sure she feels included.
Mhm.
I don't know if that made any sense.
No,
But
that
like
makes sense.
that's how it's been working so far, which is great.
Sounds like it's working excellent.
It's great.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got so lucky, bro. The writer, I always I see my life as like seasons.
Yeah.
Like this is season 30 because I'm 30. And I'm always like, dude, the writers this season are going crazy, bro. I don't know what the budget's up this season or what, but fuck, I feel blessed.
Yeah, I saw you say the other day that you're struggling to identify the difference between dreams and realities.
Yes. Yes. Cause I had this vision board as a kid. And in the last 12 months, I've crossed off 99% of the things. There's only 2 things left on the list. One is sitting courtside at a Lakers game, which I am doing on Friday.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say we could change
I
that.
could cry on this podcast just
Yeah.
saying it out loud. I still don't even believe it. My friend Sean Does Magic is taking me,
Yeah.
and in my mind, I'm like, nah, it'll get rained out. Like the thing's outdoor, you know. And then the next is 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And so
Aren't you like really close?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm at 849 or something.
Yeah. So within the year, for sure.
Yeah. I'm gaining about 100,000 per 2 weeks or something like that. It should be within the next month or so if things keep going.
Yeah. My year is I'm giving you some grace.
You give
period.
your grace just in case, which is kind. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of moments where I'm sitting in cars or in planes or whatever, and I'm looking out the window and I just start crying like profusely. It's even weird to admit out loud, but like I just start crying and I just can't believe that like I was in Zimbabwe, like, you know, not too long ago, it feels not too long ago, sitting in a room, writing out the things I wanted to do, and I'm literally doing them. And I don't know, there's no like, I feel like I'm getting emotional, but like, there's no one teaches you or tells you like the feeling of your dreams coming true. It's such a weird thing, like coming to terms with the fact that the stuff you dreamed about is happening. And not everybody gets to have their dreams come true. And so recognizing that while being in my assertion is, I just get overwhelmed with like gratefulness, thankfulness. I have to stop because I'm about to cry, but I get very overwhelmed. It's pretty crazy.
Thinking of yourself in Zimbabwe,
Mm-hmm.
all the way, far away, different side of the world,
Whole nother.
immigrant to America.
Yeah.
Did you think America would be this good?
Yes, that's why I came.
Yeah.
But when I first came, I was trying to get to the NBA. I wanted to be a basketball player. I was like 15, like, yeah, I'm gonna get to the league. Watch, I'm gonna play at Duke. Then I got here and everyone was like 6'4", drinking Gatorade. I was drinking water and eating fucking frog legs and baguettes.
On that note, though, before he answered the last, dreaming that you'd get to the NBA, it's weird when you dream, when you pray, when you put intention towards something.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe if you dream hard enough, if you pray hard enough, that it always becomes a reality.
It does.
Because did you make the NBA?
No.
But did you get to an NBA court?
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I always say, like, you know what, the universe or God or whatever you believe in has a very fun way of making your goals and dreams come true. Like, it doesn't come exactly how you want it to, but it's like I've always wanted to go to the NBA. I'm not going to the NBA, but I'm seeing courtside on Friday, and I believe one day maybe I'll work with the NBA to some extent within my content. Like, who knows?
I thought you did already.
Oh, yeah, I did. This is so bad. I did. I made a video. Yeah?
Yeah, you did.
So many things. I made a video. The NBA, Philadelphia 76ers invited me to come out to a game.
Yeah, they're NBA, MVP.
And that's who's playing on Friday, too.
Yeah.
And in the video, I was like, made it to the NBA after all, and I came on the court, like this whole thing. But I would love like a partnership with the NBA. Like the same way Destroying has a partnership with the NFL, and Jesser works with the NBA. Like, I would love something to that nature. But I also don't really make a lot of basketball content, so I totally understand. But don't rule me out. I'm training. I'm in the gym. The Lakers need a new point guard, so maybe.
You know what? We've done a lot of deals with the NBA and various NBA teams, and just like general advice, what they love, and like all brands, so anybody listening, they actually love when you create a video concept and you pitch it to the team.
Yeah.
If you pitch it to the team individually, a lot of the time, like the marketing department's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Like, you got a channel, you've got an audience. Like, we like the concept, approved. We'll help you with it. And so we've probably done, I want to say like anywhere between 10 to 15 videos. For sure 10 videos with the NBA so far.
I got to hit him up.
Yeah, man, you should.
Being in DMs today.
Yeah, they're a fantastic organization. Adam Silver, that's it. Yeah.
I met him.
He's a G.
Yeah,
right?
I met him at a comedy event in New York. He was next to me, and Eileen didn't know who he was, and I was like, we're gonna talk about this in the car. And I go to dap him up. My hands are so sweaty, so nervous. Because I wanted to ask him if I can be in the Celebrity All-Star game. That's actually the third thing on my childhood list I need to do.
Yeah, they had creators in it. It's like,
yes, they did.
That.
And I wanted to ask him, can I be in the game? But I panicked. I just said, like, man, I love everything you're doing with the league. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, all right, well, have a good night, evening. Then I just like walked away from him, and I was like, fuck. Adam, if you're watching, get me. I want to be in that so bad. I'm putting up 30 points. I'm calling it today.
Get so big, bro. Get so big that
they can't deny you.
They can't deny you.
Dude, that's... Yeah. You know how often I say that? I'm always telling friends, like, because I had this motto when I was here. I don't know if I was telling Brian or somebody, but I was like, oh, you want to go to VidCon? Bet, pop off. Oh, you want to play in a Celebrity All-Star game? Bet, pop off. You want to work with these huge companies? Bet, pop off. You want to fuck anything you want to do, like, if you just are big enough, they're going to have to let you in. And I think that's another reason why I really locked in, because I was like, all these doors will open for me if I just lock in.
Yeah, clout's a different kind of currency.
It is.
It's a weird one.
Especially out here.
Yeah. Oh, in LA?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to stay here?
In Los Angeles?
Like for a long time?
Yeah.
Really? You like it?
Yeah. I'm doing all my my stuff to
be here?
To be here for a long
time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now I feel like staying a little bit.
Yeah.
Because also we're going to be neighbors soon-ish.
Yeah. No, we I'm down here I'm going to be down here for years time. For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Because a lot of people are leaving now.
Yeah, that's on them. I think it's one of those places that people come and go. I was having a conversation the other day. It says something when you own a property in Los Angeles. You
Oh
own a
yeah.
business, you own a property,
Mhm.
and you're not a tourist. Because how many people come to just be here for a year? That was
Yeah.
when I first came by. I was like, yeah, let's see. I'll
Yeah.
do this and see how it goes and see if this is for me. And if it is, then
Yeah.
I'll look at it. But I'm having like
You
the
guys have.
green card discussions
Oh,
and
no
do all that
way.
kind of stuff to
Dude,
make
there's
that
a
happen.
stat I saw that every 3 years, like 30,000 people leave LA. 3 year
Yeah.
apparently is the mark. People come in, they want to be in entertainment, and around 3 years, they kind of either break through or they're making good money to have a job they can stay, or they like run out and they leave. So anytime I see someone stay for like 4 or 5 years, I'm like, oh, you're over the hump. Like
Mhm.
you can thrive out here. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of time now.
Yeah, and it is a place that you can thrive, and there's a lot of things like I understand why people are leaving in
Mhm.
a bunch of ways, but
Yeah.
for the community that we have and the field that we work in, and like
Makes the most sense.
there's nothing like it.
No.
There's I look at, I've been to many of the major cities,
Yeah.
and they all have their own, kind of piece to offer.
Right.
And this one has some real special potential in our
Yeah.
industry. Like
It's our town, bro.
I don't know, man. It's like I can think of it's like the amount of people I've met in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are connections that many people dream of making.
Yeah.
And we get just to dap them up, see them
I
on occasion,
know.
and then you see them at the next event, or you see them at the restaurant or whatever. And
Next thing you know, you're building a business together.
you're building businesses,
Yeah.
or you make a friendship that lasts a lifetime, or you just get that tad bit of information that can change the way you think about things,
You're
how
right.
you operate, what you do. And there's just heavy hitters out here who are full of ambition, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because all the
And
people who want to be in entertainment are out here. So you're just in a pool of the best entertainers, the people who were in their small town and were like, dude, you're going to be a star someday. Like, you should move to LA. Like, all those people are here. So you're always surrounded by those people.
yeah, a lot of people dream of it's like, oh, how, it's a wild place to live. And I do think that you take a lot of all-stars from small towns. And
Yeah.
this is kind of where they get together,
Yeah,
at
for
least.
sure.
And
But I'm hyped. Let me know if you get that green card.
yeah.
If you need me to write a letter or sign off, I've signed off a couple green card letters in a few years.
Yeah, I'm in the process of doing all of that. It's, you immigrated, you understand, you
yeah.
understand what it's like, and it's, I love Canada in so many ways, right? That's hard. But
Feels like an apology to Canada. You're like, look, Canada, I still love you.
yeah,
Just-
I've got my property there. I've got
Yeah,
my
you have
family
dual
there.
citizenships, all good.
Yeah, if I get dual, that'd be cool. That'd be
You
cool.
can get dual for sure.
yeah,
Down the road.
down the road. So it's
Yeah.
now it's just the process thing for me to go through all that. Could I have that coffee? My sweet pea, thank you. Didn't get you one, man.
Over
Sorry.
here. Yeah, what the fuck was
Yeah,
that?
you just got to look at it's delicious.
I'm surprised. Like,
Is it La La Land? Have you had this?
mm-mm.
Try this.
Is it good?
Yeah, go for it.
You don't mind?
No, not at all. She introduced it to me the other day.
Damn.
Right?
What? Wait, what? I just broke my fast early. Oh, no, I'm good. Wait. That's near here? I'm going over there after this.
Yeah, it's not that far at all.
I'll have to take a walk.
You're fasting right now?
Intermittent fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially it's Ramadan too. So, but Ramadan, you're supposed to fast from, all day. I have a really bad gut. So I do it reverse, which you're not supposed to do. Don't follow my lead. But I start fasting in the evening and I fast till the afternoon. And
That's what I'm doing right now too.
yeah, but I was already intermittent fasting, so it kind of worked out perfectly. So I end up fasting actually longer than you're supposed to, because I stopped eating at like 7:30. I don't eat till 12:30 the next day. But I've been going till 1 or 2 sometimes. I'm just getting so used to it. And it's tremendously changed my life. Like my gut health is so much better. My stomach. I used to be bloated so much. I literally was like, bro, you're shredded, but your stomach. I do so much cardio, like all this shit. And then one day Eileen was like, you're just bloated.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't even drink that much water. What are you talking about? It's like, it's not just about drinking water. So I started looking at gut health, after months and months of trying different things, land on intermittent fasting. And that's been the biggest change for me. I not only feel better, but my stomach is getting flatter. I'm at the age now, and I'm 30. I'm trying to make it to 40 and still be able to dunk a basketball.
Yeah, crush.
So I have to double down right now because it's only going to get harder. That's why I'm playing soccer once a week, even sometimes twice a week. I'm lifting every day, running every day. I must start playing tennis. I'm putting my foot on the gas.
What a great feeling after coming off a Achilles injury to be playing soccer.
For sure. You know what? I didn't even think about it until you said that. You're so right.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like, every time I leave the house, Eileen is always like, remember, that's not your career. Because I'm competitive. So like, I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to play like 40%, 50%, but come on.
I dream about it sometimes. Like I have dreams where in the dreams I'm playing professional sports.
Oh,
it's
really?
Like I'm dealing with the problems. Like I'm on the field doing that. Then
on and off the field?
On and off the field, man. Like
you got a my career going on.
I've got a my career going up in there. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. that dream didn't end up happening.
You're sitting in like a trade meeting with the GM in a dream. Then you wake up the next day, the dream starts on the new team. That
you know me, I don't need a manager. I got this. I do the negotiations. Yeah.
You're on like season 5 of your career. Every time you go to bed, it just picks up where you left off.
Yeah, dude. I think about it all the time. I have like sometimes
so
I have
funny.
football flashbacks, and then when I wake up and I look at how my body currently is and all that, like I'm going hard right now too, and I just want to play a rugby game. I want to be able to step on a rugby pitch again.
Yeah,
that's
just hit some people a little bit. Get that feeling.
Just make a guy miss.
Yeah,
outrun a motherfucker too.
Just
right,
like,
truck through him.
Okay, I still got it a little bit.
Yeah. Like knowing me, when I get my body to the state to be able to actually withstand a rugby game and play through it, I know that I'm going to try to do some
for sure
stupid stuff.
Yes.
Because it's like,
don't do it.
When I'm in dreamland, I'm back at 21 years old.
Yeah. In your mind, but then your body is it's 2023.
It's
2024.
2024 now, right? It's like it's been since my last rugby game. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, dude, don't play with that shit, bro.
Oh, I'm gonna.
That happens to me all the time. I'll be on the pitch and I'll just start like thinking of what I'm gonna do, and then I gotta do it, and my body doesn't do it as well as I wanted to do it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
This isn't how it's been.
This isn't how it's. Yeah. I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, no, you did this 20 years ago. It's not the same. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like I have nothing to prove now, so I have more fun than anything. But I'd be lying if a ball is going down the line and there's 2 of us sprinting towards it, like I'm not going fucking 40%. I'm going 200 motherfucking percent. Yeah. And when I get to the hospital, they'll have to deal with my leg, whatever happened to it.
Yeah. Yeah, if my hamstring comes out, if whatever's
put
gonna tear on the way there, at least I got that ball, man.
I was about to say, I'm getting that ball. I'm getting that fucking ball.
Yeah. At least I got that ball.
Oh my god.
My one business partner, Samuel. Yeah. Last year he did like a full windmill kick on the soccer pitch, like successful goal. Yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, you're 31 years old out here. It's like good for you that you did it. You've been trying to do that your whole entire life. And it took 31 years. But you're actually attempting it. Like kudos to you.
Oh my god. You know where things changed for me? Actually was in here. We were doing a Cam Boys video and we had to punch this punching thing on the wall. I'm not even in the video. Mm-hmm. I walk up as a joke and I punch because everyone had a high score. I punch it as hard as I can. I get the high score. I walk away. I look down. My hand is swollen. Right?
Did you break your hand?
No, I didn't break it. I bruised 3 of the muscles in here. This was of October of last year.
Mhm.
We're in March. My hand still hurts. Like I was at the orthopedic 2 weeks ago for that. And he's like, there's nothing you can do, you just gotta wait it out. It takes 6 to 12 months to heal. So, but for like 4 or 5 months, I could barely lift. And I made a mental note to myself. I was like, that was it. That's the last of like, let me see if I can go do this or punch or windmill or let me go extra hard on this one. No,
It's preparation.
it's too, it costs too much. The outcome is too, the consequences are not worth it anymore. You know, like when I see someone, I don't know, like, hey, we're trying to see who can kick this bucket as far as possible. I'm like, I'm good, fam. I'm good, fam.
Yes, yeah. The one with me, I can't kick. I did there was like with a rectus femoris, rec fem, and
In your leg?
sartorius or something. Yeah, in your quad where they cross. I had a tear when I was 17. It was my grade 11 year, and it was weird, man. It was like anytime I'd go to sprint, I'd just feel like a snap in my quad, and it just made me get slower and slower.
Yeah.
And if I went to like trip over a curb, I'd feel like a snap.
Oof.
So the one thing for me, like I used to kick in rugby, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Don't kick anymore," because anytime like you go to do that one just
Like
really
that
sharp,
motion.
where you plant into something, right? That's when it goes. So I'm just like, if I see a soccer ball sitting there, I'm like, I'm not gonna go run and kick that as hard as I can, because if I was doing that when I was a teenager, like,
Versus now.
that scar tissue's still there.
Yeah, dude. We don't realize as kids, as teenagers, how that stuff is. Like, I still have shoulder pain from when I was like in high school. I fucking fucked up. I fucked something up.
Well, you heal so fast.
You heal so fast when you're younger.
Yeah.
It feels so cliche and stupid to say it, but like, you don't realize it till you realize it.
Yeah, you're
You
like,
know,
"Ooh."
like why is it? It's
It's
It's been 7 months. My hand still hurts.
You know what? I did know. I had enough smart people around me that the injuries that I was getting, they were telling me, they were like, you're really gonna regret this when you're older. But football and rugby, you're like NASCAR. It's not F1. You're getting beat up, banged up. They put you back together, you get back on the track, and you go for a very short period of time. But when I look at guys in the NFL or CFL or playing pro rugby, and some of them are in their mid 30s. You see guys like Tom Brady, what the hell,
And still performing.
and I don't know how people get through university,
Dude.
And so it's just freak out.
It's just freak athletes, and like obviously now there's so much better science around like sports, and they're able to take you at 16 and say you got to do X, Y, Z to be sustainable, and longevity has become more important. That's why you have players like skip games and stuff like that. There's been a shift because before, I felt like when we were growing up, it was like if you said, "Oh, I'm hurt," people, the coaches and your teammates look at you like it's just an excuse not to play. Get in there and play. That's how I grew up playing sports. I was almost afraid to say that like my ankle hurt because I didn't want to be seen as like back then, quote unquote, a pussy. So it was like you just play through the pain. But in hindsight, that is so detrimental. Like, you know?
Dude, I first time I ever heard that type of mindset, the longevity mindset, I was at a football camp here in America. It was when I first started coming down like south of the border to play. And
it's funny how you're south of the border
is America.
And I'm thinking like, you went to Mexico?
No. I went to America. And when I came down to America, the coach that was coaching me in this camp, he coached like Emmitt Smith, man, like old guy, like really, really big resume, had some amazing running backs under his wing. And we're in a room and there's a kid next to me, and they were asking, what do you do when you're approaching the sideline?
Approaching the sideline?
Yeah, approaching the sideline in football. So when a play has lengthened out enough that you get to the sideline, what I was coached was whoever's coming to push you out of bounds, you run back in bounds as hard as you can, and
To get a couple
you,
extra yards.
yeah, you run through a motherfucker, get a couple yards, and try to leave an imprint to say, don't try to tackle me.
Yeah.
Like, you come near me, you're gonna get hurt.
You're gonna get
yeah,
trucked.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna make you hesitate next time you come.
Yeah.
And so I was like eager to answer. I raised my hand and I answered him. Like, somebody tries to push me out of bounds, like,
You getting pushed back in bounds.
oh yeah. Like, I don't go out of bounds.
Yeah,
coach.
I've never been out of bounds in my life.
And he was talking like situationally, like if there's lots of time, whatever. And he looked at me and he's like, no. The other guy who also had his hand raised equally as fast as me, he was like, get out of bounds, conserve energy. And he was like, yes, correct answer. I was like, what?
Damn.
What, like, I like all the old farm coaches,
Right, you're
my
like,
whole
wait
life
a
are like-
minute.
they're like, no, like you you run through a motherfucker. So yeah,
Oh my
it's cool
God.
to see longevity. Like, man, I wish I was doing
It's
that.
so important.
By the way, I'm sure your doctors told you don't punch with these knuckles, my friend.
Yeah, he did tell me that.
Yeah.
But I was just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I just punched it as hard as I could. Call it a day.
It comes like it's usually when you're winding up as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to hit an object because.
And also I put the reason why I had the highest score isn't because I was punching the hardest. I just know when you're punching, throw your hips into it, not just your arm. So I threw my whole weight behind it. It was dumb.
And if you get, like, you'll have a higher impact on that tail end, like the snap right there. Like, I feel like that's why so many people get that.
They get fucked, yeah.
It's called the boxer's fracture.
It happens
it's so
often.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. I broke mine in.
Oh, you broke yours?
Yeah, I broke mine in, I think it would have been 2019.
I was walking out of a bar, some kid was talking shit.
Oh, dude, he was one of my best friends, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
You punched one of your best friends?
Yeah. I got
like,
him.
Totally kidding.
We had a disagreement, and I got him on the back of the head right there. And it was funny. Like, he got up after, and he was laughing. He's like, shit, man, like, you hit me hard. And I was like, shit, I think I did. And you know, when you have adrenaline, you don't really think about it.
You're not thinking, yeah.
I looked at my hand, and it was just like.
Yeah, dude, that's the worst feeling. Because that's when you know, like, well, that's going to be a few months of dealing with this shit.
Yeah, I casted it, and then I wore the cast for a couple weeks, and then it started getting itchy. So I took some shears, some pruning shears. We used them to, like, prune peaches, and then just, like, cut off that cast. And it's kind of I shouldn't have done
Dude,
that.
what you need to do is you need to keep doing this podcast, but it's got to be in a farm, bro, on a barn in northern Canada.
Dude, I had a.
That's what you need. It needs to be like, welcome back.
I shared
to
on
North Supporter.
I shared on my story. I don't know who. Greg, do you mind searching up a old cowboy podcaster?
Bro, that's what you need.
Dude, you gotta see this guy. I put him on my story yesterday, and I'm like, this is goals. Like, I hope one day to be sitting on a ranch, and he's just classic cowboy. And I've been surrounded by them my whole life, where they have so much wisdom. Like, if you took one of these mics and you went and put them out on some ranches up in Canada, and you just let them old dogs
just
talk,
like talk,
they'd be dropping wisdom.
I'm telling you, dude, these mics, people sitting on hay and just having a conversation.
Yeah, they spit some wisdom out there. Those old guys know it. There's
So funny.
a Travis Tritt song. It's called "Where Corn Don't Grow," and
Where corn don't grow.
where corn don't grow.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
And the basis of the song is about a young, ambitious kid who, let's see him. Yeah, this is him.
Oh my God.
What's his name? What's his channel called?
Wait, play one of the videos.
Dry Creek Wrangler School.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, he's a G.
Oh my God, dude. Like, imagine you can pause it. Imagine you.
That's my goal.
Yeah, like that. And it's just a mic, and you're just like, well, thing about up here is, you know, it's just like.
Dude, he's crushing it on shorts.
Oh, I'm sure.
He just spits philosophy. and it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's the
Like
thing about cowboy men like talking about deep stuff.
yeah.
You just listen.
The Where Corn Don't Grow, Travis Tritt, the basis of that song, it's a good one, you should listen to it, is about a young ambitious boy who he's angry at his dad for settling down on the farm and living that simple life and all
Yeah.
that. And the kid wants to go move to the city and chase ambition and do all of that. And and
corn don't grow in the city.
yeah, it's like, I believe the words are, so he kind of like spazzes out at him at the beginning of the song. And he's like, he just sat there, looked up from his old coffee cup. He's like, shakes his head as he looks up. Yeah, that's the song. And the whole basis of it is that the old cowboy living on a big plot of land where he grows his own food and he hangs out with his family and his friends. He's got it more figured out than any man.
Oh, for sure.
Chasing anything out in the city.
Because if you think about it, as we get older, we slowly turn to that kind of lifestyle, right? Most people slowly are like moving more and more suburbs, rural, like, you know what? I want to go and live on a farm. Like, that's the thing people talk about as they get older. One thing I've learned is the older you get, the wiser you get. So maybe there's something here with the idea of like that type of living, you know? But I don't know.
My girl said the other day, she was like, we were talking about her parents, and she was like, yeah, they drop great wisdom. I'm like, yeah, they do. And it's just like you should never doubt somebody that has a significant amount of age on you.
Yes.
That they've got wisdom.
Yes.
And whatever type of life they've lived life. And so whenever I'm talking to anybody elderly than me, I'm like, because now when you go talk to a 21-year-old, let's say, and
they don't know fucking shit.
How many of our friends are 21? We got a lot of friends.
We got a lot of
21.
friends. Yeah.
But sometimes when they're saying things, and even just that 9-year age gap, you're like, oh, I've got some wisdom on what you're talking about right now. And it comes from experience.
And it's not even like on some like, big bro type thing. It's just literally time in. It's such a big part. They may not understand what's going on right now, but there's a reason why so many cliches still apply today. Like surround yourself with good people, like work hard, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like how many quotes have sustained time? So many. So clearly the core basis of what makes us happy or successful as people hasn't changed that much. Everything else around it may have changed, but that is more or less the same. And those guys have 20, 30, 40 years on that shit. So maybe don't listen to everything they have to say, but pay close attention to what they have to say.
Yeah, pay close attention. That's a great way to put it. I remember my stepdad, he used to always say, he would tell me what to do, clean up after yourself, make your bed every morning, whatever. And he'd finish it with, whenever I'd complain, he would say, just do it. You'll get me one day. You'll understand one day.
Yeah.
One days came. And I understand all those old lessons.
One day came.
Yeah, one day came.
That's so funny.
It's like, all those little things after years of life experience.
I totally agree.
You get it, and you know what? He is a cowboy, a welder, a great man. Who doesn't. He'll never see this podcast. He doesn't open the computer. Has no idea about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, so we live very different lives. But the principle of the little things, always respect the elderly.
Dude,
man.
my uncle taught me how to drive. He was a horrible teacher. He would tell me,
I've been in 3 accidents
bro.
this week.
No, not that. But he was just so strict. Like we'd be on the highway. And he's like, the speed limit is 65, not 66, not 64, 65. I was 15 years old in Ohio. And if I wasn't on 65 the whole time, I would get chewed up. at the time, I'm thinking, this nigga is crazy. Who the fuck cares? It's 1 mile difference. But it's crazy how I live my life today, where when I'm giving notes on videos, I'm like, remove that 0.5 second of that laughter and move this joke 0.3 seconds over here. Kev, it's who cares? Do it. My attention to detail today is anal. It's horrible. Working with me is super fun, but it's also like, man, like you cannot miss a comma. I will catch it. And so I called my uncle a couple months ago, and I'm like, it's funny, like the way you taught me how to do things, I hated back then. I thought it was stupid. Like, who cares? It's 1%
As every
off,
kid does, yeah.
And now I've noticed how it's taught me to apply that to everything. And one of the things I'm most proud of with me is my attention to detail. I can catch anything that I've worked on because of that. So shout out my uncle. You're a crazy ass teacher, but I love you.
Yeah, what a G. Back to the where corn don't grow story there. We talked about the man in the boat that one time, didn't we? Do you remember that story?
Crawford?
No, I told you it was my trainer back in Canada said it to me once about the old man fishing on the boat with his guitar.
You did tell me that.
Yeah.
A long time. Wait, that was a long time ago. No,
that was a while ago. It's one of those lessons that stays out with me. I'll repeat it so the audience gets it. And maybe they've heard this story. And mine might be a little wrong or incorrect, but this is how I remember.
Point we'll get across.
Was that one day there's a old man sitting on the ocean, just off the beach, and he just caught a fish, comes on in, starts up a fire, starts plucking away at his guitar. Some busy kid just graduated from Harvard University. He's got all the ambition in the world and all these ideas, and he comes by and he looks at the man picking his guitar, sitting by the fire, cooking the fish, and he asks him if he can join for a bite. The man says yes. He decides to eat the fish and says, man, this is the best fish I've ever had. Like, what a lucky catch. And he's like, I catch them every single day. He's like, the water here is abundant with these fish. He's like, yes. He's like, well, he starts talking about how he needs to catch all the fish and how he could start a business and create his company. And he starts pitching him on all the ideas.
That's what I was thinking in my head.
And he starts thinking like, how do you expand this?
How do you scale like investors?
And he's like, you'll make so much money. And then the old man with the guitar sits there and says, okay, great. And what would I do there? And he says, well, with all this money, you could do this, and you could do this, you could do this. You know what? There's so many things. Like, you tell me, what would you do with it? And he thinks, well, probably get a boat, a guitar, a fishing rod, and I'd go find a nice place on the ocean near a beach.
Which he already has.
Which he already has. Yeah. So it's like, it's just, that's the story is sometimes you don't need to get too caught up in it. Sometimes you don't need to go move to the big city. We're here right now. I had a beautiful moment in my life where the happiest time of my life was after a stint when a bunch of terrible things had happened. Like, really, I had injury, long relationship, got out of, like a bunch of sickness.
Tough time.
Friend passed, like bunch of things came.
Oh wait, I was there. I was around for that.
No, that was different.
That was another one.
Yeah, that was a different hard time.
God
as
damn.
they just happen in life. But this was a long time ago, and I ended up living out on a buddy's peach orchard, and really was just like smoking weed and living off his peaches. Had a bunch of cats that were around.
I mean, what else do you need?
Much money. And I was so happy with next to nothing. I was living in a trailer, but it was above one of the nicest lakes in the world. Really. And just in the forest, I had a great German Shepherd at the time. And
you're like the guy on the beach. It's just your version of it.
I was the guy on the beach. And so I found all of that. And then the ambition bug started to creep in. And I remember vividly thinking, I'm so happy with where I'm at in life. I just went through all this shit when I was chasing all these ambitions and trying to do all this. And then when I went to go heal, I found happiness inside that time. And I remember before I came back to the city and I actually ended up starting my first business after that, I remember thinking, no matter what happens, I can always grab a trailer,
And go back.
go
Yeah.
back,
Wow.
grab a trailer, find
That's
a good,
interesting.
good abundant property that grows fresh fruit, and I could live off very little. And that's really all I'd need
Yeah.
if I'm looking for happiness.
Yeah.
So when that ambition bug stuck in, it's like, well, let's go see what kind of life I can live. Let's go see what kind of things I'm capable of doing.
Make it happen.
So at the very least, when I'm an old man, I never have to question what I was capable of.
Yeah.
So that's why when you say like, hey, are you going to be here? I'm like, yeah, I see myself being here for
Yeah.
a little bit. I want to see what I'm capable of doing before.
How much you can push this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
before that time comes when it's like, you know what, I want to head back to.
Yeah.
Back to the mountains or back near the ocean.
That's so funny. I had a similar talk with my dad 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about like shifting away from having money goals and just having like things you want. Because I feel like you're going to get to a point where like, if you're just chasing money, there's no ending.
Never.
There's always more money.
Never.
But once you recognize what are the things you want, like for me, I want to go to a nice gym. I want to be able to fly business or someday have a private jet. And I want to live in a really nice house. Those are the three things I really want, right? I don't care for like fancy clothes. I don't care for to have the nicest car. Like those are my three vices that I'm like, once I have those three things, I feel like I don't need more money. So it's easy when you have stuff like that is like concrete, because once you have those things, you're not stuck in that like more, right? Like I unlocked the gym 2 years ago. I just started flying business every now and then, treating myself a little bit. And
private too, I'm sure.
And not on my dime if I'm ever on one of those planes.
But around those circles.
And then the last one is like gonna be getting a house hopefully someday, or just a place I really, really like. It's mainly I want a place where my family can come visit me, because right now my family comes and they stay in hotels. There's not a lot of space for them. But having a place that I'm proud of, that I can call home. Because in LA we move so much. I would just love to have a place that's like mine. And I'm getting close to having like those three things. And it's making it easier for me to go about my day. Because I'm not tripping over trying to make a gazillion fucking dollars. I just need enough to have my three little vices. That's it. Everything else, the bare minimum is enough. I don't need the fanciest food. Like I said, I don't want the fanciest clothes, the craziest car. I love my Jeep. I'm thinking about downgrading, you know. Like those are my three things that I really want to fight for. And once I have them, I'm out. And making that shift makes, I think, working a lot easier versus like going down a road that has no.
Yeah, because you can always get the bigger house. You can always get the nicer car.
Exactly.
You can always, and I'm in that. I keep having that conversation with people inside my life too, where I'm like, yo, you know, I've been that guy. Like I've been the guy that needed to, you know, I was spending my money on frivolous, like useless things that as soon as I'd buy them, I'd always find out that there's a better version. You know, you spend $50K on a watch, now you're wanting the $80,000 watch.
There's always more.
You spend, there's a car you've always dreamed of getting, you get your dream car, and then
there's a better one.
There's a better one. You dream about getting a house or a property, and then you end up living in it, and then you're like, well, I want a bigger one. Yeah, like
there's that song by J. Cole, Love Yours. I think everyone should listen to that song every day to start their day. It's the epitome of like, you have to learn to love yours. There's always going to be a bigger house, a faster car, badder bitches, like better clothes, like better seats at the game. Like there's always going to be a better version of what you have. So until you learn to love what you have, you're always going to be unhappy to some extent. So, but this is not financial advice. This is just how I live my life.
It's a sickness. I know a guy who's worth hundreds of millions now. He's absolutely crushed it at life. And I was maybe 21 years old, sitting in his beautiful mansion, and we had just shared enough liquor that night that he decided he wanted to get philosophical with a couple 21-year-old kids. Me and my
How old
best
is
friend.
he?
He's in his 40s at the time.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
he's young.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah, he's young.
I also
And-
love how when you get to your 30s, 40s, you're like, oh, he's young. But when I was a kid, if someone told me they were 40, I'd be like, damn,
That's twice my
this
age.
fucking crazy guy's about to die.
That's humans didn't even live that long.
Jesus
a long
Christ.
time
He's
ago.
401k, that's probably the stuff he's beyond.
He's done incredibly successful, and I just decided to poke him with that question. I'm like, I'm sitting in this absolute mansion. I've seen him pull up in every different car and this and that, and I ask him, I'm like, what are you working towards? And he's just like, I got a sickness, man.
Damn, that's what he said.
He's like, I've got a sickness. He's like, it's never enough. He was like,
Whoa.
every time I get to a stage, he's like, I discover there's another level, and he's like, I can't stop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't stop. And
But how cool of him to be self-aware and recognize that in himself.
yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah, and he's able to recognize the detrimental aspects to it,
Right.
And the where it hurts him. And
Yeah.
it's that's a really lonely place too, because
It is.
not many people understand what it's like to be one of those individuals and the negative aspects that
Yep.
it brings. Because so many people, I heard somebody say just the other day, like, money would solve all these problems right now. No, they won't.
I don't know about that.
It will not.
Yeah.
And
So, some problems, a lot of the
a
problems.
lot of the problems.
But, it's as simple as if, God forbid, one of my family members has terminal cancer, money's not going to save that.
No.
Some things, money can't solve every problem. It can help alleviate, right, problems. Like it can help maybe sustain the hospital bills or whatever. But actually solving a problem money can't solve them all.
yeah, it's, it takes you out of a survival mindset, which is
Right.
nice, but it ends up, it brings in a bunch of weird different ones that
Yeah.
you never would have expected. Like friends are a lot harder to make when you've got some good cash in your pocket, or you got something to offer.
Yeah.
You have to read rooms completely differently. You've got a lot to lose.
Yeah. Because people always say, oh, you change when you start making money. But I think a lot of people around you change.
A lot of people
more than
around you do.
anything when you
Yeah.
start making good money. Like people treat you differently. Like even as little as like oh, you got the bill, right? At dinner. Like the fuck? And they said that's a small yet deep rooted thing that tells you a lot. Like there's this assumption of, oh, because you're not making money, you're not gonna be treated in this different category, right? So I don't know, but
The picking up the bill one's a funny one, because I remember being the guy that everybody loves the guy at the table who picks up the bill.
100%.
Right? It's like you get an amount of respect for it and all that. And when you're a young person that doesn't have money at the time, it's like you're like, I'm gonna be that guy one day. And then when you become that guy, like, it's so funny, because I always think, like, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I like being that guy to this day, and I will always.
You're
be
always
guy.
that guy.
But
I can confirm.
But it's one of those things that everybody's thankful for something for a second.
For a second.
It's only one. It's like 1 second of like
Yep.
6.
Yep.
So if you should only be that guy if you can actually like truly be that guy, because some
Yes.
people want to be that person so bad to get their friends' appreciation
The
or any of that.
recognition or whatever.
I'll save the people money who can't afford to do it. Like, you're only gonna get their appreciation for. I think the dinner one lasts literally after a couple of hand claps.
When the second they get back in the car, they already forgot
Yeah,
that you paid the bill.
yeah, it's done.
1000%.
Because and some people, like, they'll hold that against their friends sometimes, where they'll be like, "Man, I've picked up all these forever."
Oh,
Don't
you
be
can't
that
do
guy.
that. No,
Don't be
no.
that
If you pick
guy.
up a bill, you gotta pick up that bill, and that's it.
Yeah,
Which is fine, but I think just be smart with your money. Overall, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Be smart with your money. Have your vices, right? Everyone's got like me, I just named my 3 vices, right? Everyone's got vices that I think I wouldn't say vices are important, but I think it's okay to have a few things that you're like, I'm gonna have a cheat meal once a week.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna treat myself to this. Like, I think having those is important, and you have yours. Don't have too many, and don't have ones that are detrimental to your health.
It's hard to find those vices that aren't bad for your health.
I
Like,
know, I know.
like,
Well, not too. I'm talking about like a hard, like drugs. and
yeah,
stuff, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
But
obviously,
even like
caffeine or sugar.
yeah, like my favorite vice, the one thing that I never compromise on is if soon as I got money in my pocket, the first thing that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm always eating good. Because when
my
I was
brother's the same.
yeah, like
That's
dude,
his vibe.
when I was a kid and we couldn't afford much, and
Yeah.
a lot of the time like we ate food that like our family friends raised. We hunted like a lot of the
Man.
meat that we ate.
Bro,
We hunted ourselves.
that is you just unlocked a new level of like starting from the bottom. Like that's another level of poor. Like going out to hunt for your food.
Do you know
That is so sick.
But do you know what's so crazy now?
that is insane.
You could put all the money in the world into my bank account, and I will forever think the wealthiest food, like the best food you can get, is the food you go and hunt. That's the best.
Dude, you gotta
meat,
write a
man.
book about that.
That's the best.
You
meat.
gotta write a fucking book about that. Because that makes sense in my mind, but I'm sure it makes way more sense in your mind.
Because as a kid, I remember thinking like, oh, we gotta go get an elk. We're gonna fill up the
Dude,
freezer.
this is hilarious. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, this is
We
the
gotta go
thing.
get. I'm thinking about. Yeah, we gotta go pick up pasta at the store. Will's at home. Like, did we pick up the elk today? Somebody try to go get the elk.
Yeah, no. Every year, my stepdad would we'd hunt together, and the
Unbelievable.
goal at minimum was that we always got a cow elk. That
Oh,
because
of course, yeah.
you get a cow elk, and that fills the freezer. It's a big animal.
Yeah. I've shot a couple of cans off a roof once. Like,
You get every few years you can draw a moose. You get a moose, you've got meat for you don't just got meat, but all your friends around you got meat. And that's another thing too, man. Like all of our family friends and stuff, like that's what you gift each other. You
catch
gift
a
each other
moose every
freezer
now
full.
and then. Fuck, I mean, a whole village eating at that point.
Yeah, dude. It was it's actually legitimately how it is.
Can I ask you for a favor?
Yeah.
Can you please, before I die, take me elk or moose hunting?
Absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely.
And we have to come back. And we have to, I don't know where this is going to go, whatever, but like, we got to do a check-in. But
Absolutely.
at some point in the
Yeah.
next, we'll call it 10 years.
Okay.
30. Before I
Okay.
turn 40,
Yeah, we
you
could go
have
this year.
to take me elk or moose hunting.
Okay.
And if we find a moose,
Yeah.
I'm feeding everybody in this bitch.
Okay, I can tell you this much. So moose straws are they're harder to get.
Yeah.
Because you need to essentially right into how the process works is the government they watch,
Of course, I know that. Yeah, I want all these things.
all of that.
Yep.
And then so about every 4 or so years you can get a tag to
Like
hunt a moose.
like a permit or something.
Yeah. In order to kill one and eat it, whatever. Now, elk though, and this is just from the land that I hunt on, that I grew up in, and I'm not a crazy hunter like guys out there. I grew up hunting on our local land. That, I know that area, and I don't know much more out of it.
Right.
But elk, I can anytime.
You can go hunt an elk.
Not
that
any
land.
time of the year, but every year during hunting season.
Yeah.
I can promise you that we'll get an elk.
That's
promise you we'll get an
crazy.
elk. Yeah.
I've gone deer hunting, bird hunting. I've been successful. I shot a deer once.
Mm-hmm.
People forget I was in West Virginia for a long time.
What type of deer?
I don't remember.
Okay.
The deer I shot was in Zambia or Namibia. It was when I was in Zimbabwe.
Oh, like back in
Africa. Yes.
Yeah. I've never hunted
We
out
took
there.
a trip.
Springbok.
Yes, that's what they have in South Africa.
Yeah.
Because you're girls, so that's how you know.
Yeah.
We took a field trip. I don't know what field trips are like in America, but over there we went bird and they're antelope, so they're called. I just said deer to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
But antelope hunting, and first there was 10 of us kids, and well, not kids, teenagers. We went bird hunting, and then the best hunters, two of them got to go hunt the antelope. And I was one of the two. So I went and we got to hunt this antelope, and it was horrible and long, and you have to be so fucking patient. I'm sure you know. I had no idea. It's like this long ass process. You don't just go out there and shoot an animal. But once you get there and once you do it, it's so rewarding. It just feels like the
Adrenaline.
tracking
Yeah.
and everything you put into it, and then bringing it back, and then everyone eating. It felt like,
You'll
like
never have a better meal in your life.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And to think like, I'm not a historian, but humans did this for so long. Like now I just pull up to the grocery store and I'm like, oh, this was about to expire. I'm gonna grab this one. You
Well,
know,
it's-
like what?
Okay, you say it's crazy that like I grew up being like, yeah, we hunt
Yeah.
for our food or raise or whatever, or friends would raise it or friends would drop off meat, and you think that's crazy. We are not that far removed from that's what everybody was doing, like everybody
Like there's
was
someone doing
that.
that right now, Kevin.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
But we're just we're accustomed to such a good life.
Dude,
We got
live in a
Erewhon just
bubble,
down
bro.
over here.
Erewhon, bro.
We're spending $30 smoothies.
Going from hunting elk to an Erewhon smoothie, it is. I mean, come on, fuck, that's a crazy jump.
Yeah.
We're taking our life for granted, especially in LA, especially in entertainment in LA, especially when you're. I would call it somewhat successful in the entertainment industry in LA.
Mhm.
That bubble is even smaller.
Mhm.
Like I was talking to Eileen the other day. I'm like, man, are we so far removed? Because I see so many things on my page coming across, and people talking about not being able to afford houses and groceries, and people being like $12 for a meal, or 18. I saw it was like $18 for a meal or a drink is so crazy. Like, and everyone in the comments is like, this is so crazy, that's outrageous. And I'm like, are we that far removed? Because $18 out here is a water bottle at Staples Center, And I'm like,
Actually.
fuck, are we so out of
Yeah.
touch? Like, this is one of the few cities where you can make a lot of money and you still look at that DoorDash priority $2 upcharge, and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it.
And I know, I know people out here who make 20, 30,000 a month and they're struggling.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that's like normal.
Yeah.
Because also here it's like, we don't have to dive too much into it, but you have to spend a lot of money to make a lot of money.
Just to be here. You
Just
have
to
spend
be here, spend a lot of money. So
Yeah.
you could be making $30K a month, but you're spending like 20 just to run your business and survive and operate. You're left with 10, and then the IRS is like, I'm gonna take half of that shit.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like, it's hard to complain because you make good money, but at the same time, our margins are just as bad as living in another state sometimes. But I don't know. I don't never want to come off like I'm complaining, because we also have the greatest job
Yeah,
in the world.
It's amazing that California makes it difficult for sure.
Mhm.
They've got that Hollywood tax is a thing, that California tax is a thing. It costs a crazy amount to live here. You need every permit left, right, and center to operate businesses or own real estate or
It's crazy.
do whatever. They put 1,000 obstacles to being successful here.
Mhm.
So if you're able to do it, you are very, very fortunate.
Yeah,
But
you're so lucky.
you're right. A lot of the time, I'm like far removed where I'll find myself like complaining if there's not a valet or something, and my girlfriend will just slap me on the head and be like, "Oh,
Come back to reality.
yeah, like remember who you are." And I often, I have this like one specific memory where, have you ever heard of Drumheller, Alberta?
No.
Yeah, it's like
I've heard of Alberta.
Yeah, so my dad and my stepmom, they had a farm out in We say it was Drumheller because Drumheller was the
Closest biggest town.
yeah,
I've
to it.
heard this story
And
before.
Drumheller is the Badlands. They've got the top it's the top fossils in the world. Like
Wow.
best place to find dinosaur fossils. Top
cold.
dinosaur museum. It is cold.
That's why
And
shit froze.
so way out there. And I remember I was sitting out in our fields and I was just thinking, I was like, man, like just any type of life other than being in this field right now.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Like any other type of life
Just want to get out of here.
you know, we couldn't, if we were running low on food, like grocery store was really far. I remember for my uncle's birthday, they drove all the way to the city, like my aunt or somebody, and got KFC and brought the KFC all the way out to us. It was like the best feast that we could have because we had KFC then. And I remember thinking like, man, like if I was that stoked about just like getting food or doing any of that stuff or living that kind of life, and now I'm complaining about
valet.
Yeah,
it's like a rude awakening. Did that happen?
Or just my steak wasn't cooked the right way or something. I'm like, man, just remember how things work.
But it's good because you have family and people around you to remind you. Some people don't. I have a similar story even further where when I was in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you were in Zimbabwe.
Dude, my dad used to pick up McDonald's in South Africa because to get to Harare, you had to go through Johannesburg.
Yeah.
So he would go to Johannesburg, get off the plane, leave the airport, buy a McDonald's, get a later flight, come back, fly to Zimbabwe to bring us, because they didn't have it in the country. There's just no McDonald's. And we would lose our mind over this, like, 2-3 hours, 4-hour-old McDonald's that we were getting from South Africa. And now, God forbid, the
Air
slushy
One
machine is
long.
broken. And I don't even shop at Air One. That shit's still out of my fucking price range. God damn.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy inside there. But it's cool. It's cool to see where we've came from. It's wild to see that our mindset sometimes we're like,
yeah,
you get it. You spoil yourself a little bit living this good of a life, and as an immigrant, like that's how great America is.
I know
that it literally blurs you to forget how difficult it is for some people in the world, and how wild it is. And like you said, don't mean to sound ungrateful or anything like that, but when you live like your dreams have came true.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and like as many, and I always say like every country has their problems. I'm American now, so I can say like we have our problems here, a lot of them. But let's not also forget, man, like this place is special. This place is really special, and it's one of the few places in the world where you can come, and if you have a dream, like you have a much better chance of making that shit happen here than anywhere else. And I think that's still true today. Obviously, like I said, we have our problems. And there's other countries now that are emerging that where you can go out and make your dreams come true. But I'd be lying if I didn't say like, this is, you know, next to Senegal, this is my favorite country. You know, I came here and I had $800. You know, obviously I my family is, you know, is doing well. Like I can never say I had like a bad childhood. When I first landed here, you know, I had $800. And my tuitions were paid, and that was more or less it. And I wanted to be in entertainment or go to the NBA, right? And somehow, some fucking way, through hard work, luck, and persistence, we're here today. And I will never be able to repay the people or the country for what making my dreams come true. So
it's wonderful.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah. What an opportunity to just be in a place where you can dream and they can actually come into reality.
And I think being an immigrant, and I think that's why opportunity is so important to me. Like one of the biggest charitable things I do, it's so funny because I never talk about this. People think influencers talk about everything. We don't. The most important thing I care about is like giving opportunity to people because, you know, I have a lot of cousins that are still in Senegal, and they just didn't have the opportunity. It's not that I'm smarter than them or I work harder than them. Like, they just weren't handed an opportunity to do great things. They were born in circumstances where there just wasn't a lot of opportunity. And so that's why I love America so much, because here, everybody gets somewhat of a starting block chance. It's not equal for everyone, but where you're starting here versus where you're starting over there, very, very different. You know, over there, we're just trying to get over here and start where the people here are starting at zero. And that jump is so big. And so that's a lot of things. The main thing that's important to me now as I continue to grow is finding those people, whether it's in LA or in Senegal or anywhere around the world that don't have as many opportunities as we did, giving them an opportunity. You know, that's not necessarily like giving out. A good example of something I want to do one day is I want to go back to Senegal and build a soccer facility, right? Whenever I would play soccer in Senegal, there are so many talented kids out there who will never get seen. Like, so talented, you'll never hear about them. And we're playing on the street with like a ball made of newspaper, and these guys are unbelievable. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't want to come here and just hand out money. I want to come here, build a soccer facility someday, which this would take. I couldn't do this alone, right? I'm talking billions of dollars investors, and have all these kids train and play in this facility instead of on the streets. And then every summer, fly out the top college coaches from the States to the facility and hold like an annual summer tournament. That is the opportunity. I'm not out here handing out scholarships, but if you work your ass off all year around,
Here's your shot.
you prove yourself. Here's your opportunity. And you can not only come out and potentially play soccer, but at the very least, get an education and get a chance at being here. That's my ultimate end all be all goal in life, is that facility. And hopefully I can make it happen someday. But I want to stay on that track of like building things that provide opportunities for those people. No handouts here, but opportunities for you to prove yourself. I'm a hard worker, so that's why I want to do it this way. But I think it's important.
One of the worst things that you can do for a person is just give them money.
Yeah,
You'll see people destroy themselves.
I know.
But if you give them the opportunity to go and get it their own, sometimes people just need a window.
Yeah, dude.
A new lane to get out of the situation that they're in. And if you just provide them that chance to earn it on their own, one, they will never forget the person that opened up that window for them. And two, they will never resent somebody because they know that they did it on their own.
100%.
So
It's the ultimate, you can give someone a fish or you can teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
You know?
Again, that wisdom. It's just
those cliches, bro. Those motherfuckers. They were right.
They were right. Yeah, they were right. Well, Kev, I think we got to do this again because we could do this forever.
Yeah,
and ever.
we could.
And
You
bro,
could
thank
do
you
this
so
forever.
much for coming
Of
out again.
course,
But
bro.
I know, but we both got shit we got to do today.
Oh, damn. We ramble.
Yeah. I think I know you got to get going too, right? So
100%.
we went overboard. But dude,
All good, man. Anytime.
thanks. Man.
Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.